just after lunch and we're trying to sort of digest the budget fully. We've heard from the finance minister trying to explain some of his major points, and I'm going to get all my panelists who manfully stayed right from the morning to get their final observations on Mr. Jaitley's budget. Harshvardhan Neotia, Chairman, Ambuja Neotia Group, is joining us. Let me get a quick update from you. Your sense, particularly from the infrastructure sector, you all have large investments in the cement sector, for example. Do you believe that there will be a pickup in manufacturing as a result of this budget, or is it, as some are suggesting, now the challenge of implementation? Yes, a roadmap has been laid. It is a challenge of implementation, particularly in states. You're based in Kolkata. You will need the West Bengal government now to deliver, not just Arun Jaitley.
Yes, I do think that the budget is a very, very positive step towards giving a roadmap of the new government's policy towards development and towards how they look at the next few years. I also see that there's a clear emphasis on simplification, rationalization, and ease of doing business. Of course, we've come through a very difficult time last 3-4 years, so it's going to be a lot of effort on everyone's part to get this economy back on track and moving at 8-9%. But I'm really optimistic after the budget announcements to see that there's a government is committed to it. There is a clear indication of the investments that will likely to go. For instance, the fiscal deficit target, which was...
Sorry, you're not answering my question. Is the challenge in Bengal now as much as it is in Delhi? Would you, for example, invest more in your home state now as a result of what you've heard? Will you pick and choose? Do you get a sense, will there be a feel-good factor as a result of Mr. Jaitley's budget, or is it now about seeing whether implementation takes place on the ground?
Well, certainly there is a feel-good factor, and I think as Mr. Jaitley announced that there will be greater devolution of financial powers and authority and share to the states. So I'm sure Bengal would be somewhat, at least half smiling, if not full smiling. So that would certainly boost sentiments there. And clearly, I have a bias because I live in Calcutta, so naturally it will be my preferred place to invest. But nevertheless, I think India is poised for great growth ahead.
Okay, that's a positive sign in the industry. I keep asking this to industries because they come on TV programs and say, yes, it's a positive sign, and then go and invest in Australia. But that's a question for another day at the moment. But Sunil Alag joins us now. Sunil, you've been, in a sense, an advocate of Narendra Modi and his Achhe Din philosophy. Yeah. Do you believe this budget really brings in Achhe Din? Yesterday, Sanjay Baru on my pre-budget special said this is the last chance. Do you believe that the last chance has been, the opportunity has been seized?
Absolutely. I rated the budget as excellent because it is the first time that he has laid out a clear roadmap, including corporate tax, where he's gone to say, I want to bring it from 32 to 25. So all the corporates know that every year it's going to go down.
I want to tell you something. Mr. Shekhar, who's our tax expert, has just told me that actually this year, 2015-16, going to be a 0.25 increase in corporate tax. So it's going to be 5% less over 4 years.
No. 1 second. He has made it very clear that the corporate tax by itself is 30 to 25. There are exemptions which he is going to start removing. Then as a consequence of the exemptions, if he says it's going up, but he's reducing the overall tax. Now,
So it's Achhe Din for corporates. Is it Achhe Din for middle class? Is it Achhe Din for the young who want jobs?
Let me just finish.
Achhe Din is not just for corporates.
That's where I've been all downstairs in Hindi, only defending the Achhe Din for the non-corporates. Because this, I think, is a budget which tells the corporates that you have to now contribute. It is a budget which I have defined as make India to make in India. If you do not make India in the rural areas, if you do not put money into infrastructure, if you do not put money there, there will be no make in India. And this is what I rate this budget as, because it's gone towards making India to help make in India.
Okay, that's interesting. That's the marketing man in you. I can see it. I can see that. Okay.
That's why I rated as excellent.
Arun Jaitley in the interview to the economic journalist said that the big thing about the budget is I want to make it easier. If I'm a foreign investor, I want to come into India, I don't have to rush from department to department. The committee that I'm setting up will put in place a regulator. If you're following the rules, we will make sure that all permissions are given right away. Is that a positive? Is that what you were saying? The idea that you said yesterday, you want to see this to be a Make in India budget to the extent that it has to make it easier to do business. And that's the point that Jaitley was emphasizing.
My last words would be precisely that, which I think Mr. Jaitley emphasized in that Doordarshan interview, that he thinks the most revolutionary thing he has done is to do this ease of business in India, that this committee will come out with a set of recommendations for starting business in India,
which could be hopefully removing certain departments, certain clearances, certain inspectors.
I hope
that's what we hope.
I certainly hope that it will also result in reduction in the size of government. I think the two are, my takeaway, Rajdeep, at the end of the afternoon is on the fiscal roadmap. I'm quite happy with the fiscal roadmap he's set out. Ease of business and social security. These are the three big takeaways.
Fiscal roadmap, ease of business and social security. You believe that these are the three elements that make this what you've been calling an excellent budget. Which is why you gave it an excellent budget.
One last point, because I've just come on.
Yes.
The big bang thing for me has been the transfer of doing things to the state. It's happened for the first time, where you are giving money to the states, and he said, I will help, you will execute, I will help. So if any farmers are dying in Maharashtra, it is now for the Maharashtra government to spend more on agriculture. If Punjab is doing well in agriculture and they want to build roads, the money that comes to them, they will spend, and the center will support. That's the big bang change for me.
Because I'm just looking at a headline on one of the websites which says big bang missing in budget, but Jaitley hits the right note. So maybe we wanted the big bang, and maybe the big bang isn't discovered in the kind of dramatic budget that we wanted, but much like the railway budget, which depoliticized the government, you're saying this budget offers a roadmap in a sense to the future.
And it's a lot more professional. In its approach, much more moving us to a modern economy. I mean, there are things that we've been doing.
Give me an example. When you say a modern economy, are you saying that this budget would put you keep emphasizing, I know, the ASEAN economies, and you believe that on certain levels, tariffs, taxes, we should be similar to ASEAN countries?
No, it's not just that. It's really having a modern bankruptcy law, which we have suffered from.
Give me the other example of modernism.
Another example
corporate bond
is
market.
Moving to a cashless society. Even Jan Dhan Yojana accounts will be given.
Monetizing gold.
No, and even things like monetizing of gold. And let me give you more. I mean, the deepening of the debt market is a very important priority for our country. Now, that's where we have to see the
So are you willing to shift from a good to an excellent?
No.
You're still saying good.
No, I think it's good. Okay. I think it's good. But I still feel it suffers from the fact that, look, the country elected Modi to control inflation, to control corruption, and to create jobs. Now, inflation has been controlled. There's been no corruption scandal in the last 9 months. But he needed to define that relationship to jobs. Now,
that hasn't been done.
A good communicator like Modi would have been able to do it.
Has Modi done well? And with Jaitley on the budget field is a big question. Quick last comments. Meera Sanyal, you wanted to make a point about the states. I know that your party, Aam Aadmi Party, is in power in the states. Do you believe that this fiscal federalism, which was emphasized in the Finance Commission report and now even by the Finance Minister, is an important step forward?
I think it's an excellent step, but bear in mind that the transmission of money is equally important. And here I'd like to just give you some figures from a study which is done by PESA. Not a single district received their allocated budget, the entire amount. What reached at the middle or the end of the year. And from districts, say for example in Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, to school, another 6 months. As a consequence, the unspent monies are huge in all of these schemes. To give you an idea, the flagship mission of the Prime Minister, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, only 15% of the allocated funds were spent until September 2014.
And there's a 2% cess on that scheme now.
Right. Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan, which is talking about your toilets, etc., only 45% was spent. So while it's all excellent,
let her complete, Sunil.
I think it's excellent that you devolve more funds to the states. Very good idea, but we do need to look at the transmission mechanism. One last point. I find certain omissions from the budget also very interesting. This budget, much like the rail budget, there was no mention of bullet trains there. There's no mention of smart cities here. So interesting. There's no mention of the one rank, one pension, which we understand that the armed forces had believed was committed to them. No big bang in terms of educational reforms, which I think is very, very important. No talk of, for example, in terms of energy security, what are we going to do to incentivize renewables significantly other than marginal changes on
You basically wanted the finance minister to play the role of the HRD minister, the energy minister, the defense minister. I mean, one rank, one pension should be Manohar Parikar's problem. He should be ensuring that it's not the defense budget. Okay. Surjit, since you and I are the cricket fans and we are itching to go and see the cricket, I'm going to give you a quick final word.
Yeah. Basically, look, what were the objectives, and some of them have been mentioned, about Modi's government and, if you will, expectations, what will happen in India in the future. Inflation has been brought down. Growth, I think there's a promise of much more growth than we ever have seen before. Corruption has been reduced, if not eliminated, certainly at the high levels. Ease of doing business, several steps have been taken forward. And crony capitalism, there's been an attack on crony capitalism in terms of black money. So therefore, we haven't discussed this at all, but the budget is all of this, and it should please the RBI as well.
It's nice noise, good noises. The question is now whether rhetoric will be translated into reality, because that is the challenge that Mr. Modi, as was said by Mario Cuomo, you campaign in poetry and you govern in prose. There's been a feeling that this government campaigns in poetry and governs also in poetry. Is this poetry that we've seen today in this budget going to be translated into the prose of governance? It's about implementation.
All I will turn around and say that all the examples that I've been hearing is what used to happen in the past. I am turning, because I am a Modi fan, there was the pre-Modi era and there's the post-Modi era. Evaluate him on what he's doing, not what the Congress did. 2 years ago, it never went down. Farmer never got this. This man is saying, now if he doesn't do it in 2 years, vote him out.
You're saying 2 years. Give him 2 years.
2 years to see which direction he goes.
Okay, so the 2017 budget will be a good midpoint.
GST will be introduced then.
We hope that GST will be introduced. I'm going to leave it at that. I think we've all spoken enough right through the day. It's time now to digest all that and do something else. And the price of liquor hasn't gone up, so you can even have a drink if you want it in the afternoon. Okay, cigarettes has gone up. I don't smoke, so that's a good sign.
No, he's going to give us champagne.
Okay, and Surjit, who's very excited with the budget, has promised champagne. I thought the champagne was reserved if India wins the World Cup. We'll take another bottle of champagne on that day.
The number of wickets down is the opposition.
Okay. Sunil Alat, Mr. Shekhar, Meera Sanyal, Surjit Balla, Gurcharan Das, Sanjay Baru. As always, a pleasure having you. We'll be back for one final roundup at 9 p.m. tonight. But it's been a pleasure if you've been watching us. It's been Arun Jaitley's day out. Has Narendra Modi's budget really cleared that big test? We leave it to you, the Janta Janardhan, to decide that. Thanks for watching. In a moment, Vivek Law is there with a special panel at CII. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.